Hi, welcome back to Mountain Jim Card Collectibles. So, I am holed up in my house for a bit before I go out and do some stuff. And so, once again, I cracked open the social media. And, the algorithm on X is set up so I get, the type of stuff I normally look at. And I mean, just 2, 3 posts down, I run into a father who spent $500 on buying retail 2025 to 2026 Topps Series 1 basketball products. But I just couldn't imagine spending the amount of money that, this guy did for what he got. So like it says, my son and I held off on buying cards for a long time, waiting for Cooper Flag's rookie to come out. End up buying about $500 in retail product, 40 to 50 fat packs, 7 blasters, 10 to 15 hanger boxes. We got absolutely skunked. Best card was a Flag season tip-off parallel worth about $10 to $15. Pulled 7 to 10 base Flag rookies and a few insert rookies. Only 3 to 5 numbered cards, mostly scrubs, a couple of rookie relics of no-name players. At Topps is doing exactly what Panini did by overproducing the product and making it impossible to get any value. I told my son that this is why I always talk about not buying unopened products. We almost always buy singles, and this just reinforced the wisdom of that practice. We had fun chasing Flag as Mavericks fans, but we likely won't be buying any more unopened products from Topps moving forward. Now, if my dad spent $500 back in the day, when I was growing up, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, whatever, I would have had a lot of cards, probably a lot of big names, probably a lot of cool parallels, and he wouldn't have spent near as much to, get into this stuff. I just couldn't imagine going out in this day and age. For this product, which I've said numerous times, basketball is likely one of the worst sports card products out there. But $500 for 40 to 50 fat packs. That's crazy. 7 blaster boxes and 10 to 15 hanger boxes. I mean, when I look at that stuff, I'm not interested. And maybe it comes from experience, I mean, and maybe that's what sports cards is it's experience. And I have already been experienced by the time, 1992, 93 rolled around. I had learned my lessons then that, you have to be very careful ripping products because more often than not, you will come out a loser. And that's in the junk wax era, I was already learning my ways of losing. So, if I was asking my dad to spend $500 on me, it wouldn't have been on this. I mean, it would have been, we're going fishing, we're going camping, we're going hunting, it would have been an awesome experience. Sitting there, opening sports cards with my dad, that's kind of a meh moment. That's just me, I mean, they're sports cards, I enjoyed playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With my dad a few times. He'd always beat me. But as far as opening sports cards, I mean, my dad would purchase them for me, but, and he might sit back. We'd be watching a football game on Sunday or something, and I'd be ripping open, some packs as we're watching the game. He'd be kind of interested, on what I was getting. But, sports cards back then, I mean, they were something that, my dad might spend $10, $15, $20 and have a lot of product for me to rip and open. You know what I mean? It wasn't that big of a deal. So I can understand his irritation. I can understand why he doesn't want to buy any more sealed product because it's such a losing gamble. And we know that this is Topps fanatics, they favor breaking companies, breakers. I mean, you have to be an entitled consumer to really get the best of the best from Topps Fanatics. And I think a lot of us have a hard time soaking that in. You have to be entitled. And what does entitlement mean? Well, it might mean that you're part of a breaking company. It might mean that you're wealthy. It might mean you come from a big wealthy family. It is what it is. So I'll get into some of these comments. And this card, I want to say, I like the design of this card. I mean, it's not like I don't like the design. Yeah, I'm always against that, not very flashy rookie card symbol. It's a nice card. It's a shame, it's not numbered on the front, but clearly that's the best pull that they had. And like he says, it's only worth about $10 to $15. If you're a viewer and you're wondering why I don't get too excited about, players like Cooper Flagg, well, you have to understand that, through the 80s, the 90s, how many players did I see in the 90s, especially for baseball, where they would prop up on the box and make him out to be a big player, a big chase, and then they just become a nobody, I mean, it's happened so many times, And so when I look at Cooper Flagg, in the back of my mind, I'm going, odds are that this individual is not going to go very far. And I know Topps hyped him up, he's a big chase, and the NBA, whatever, NCAA. But I've seen so many people like that in my lifetime that, in my mind, the odds are very strongly against Cooper Flagg. And that just goes from a lifetime of seeing all of these big, almost poster boys that they put on the boxes, and the poster boys typically don't go anywhere so often, So that's why, to me, Cooper Flagg is just kind of like a meh moment. If you're buying into it, maybe you're just not as experienced as me. You know what I mean? Because, I'm pushing over half a century now. If you don't mind getting burned on these chases, hey, chase. But eventually you kind of want to sit back and go, well, who really is taking the spotlight here? Who is sucking all the oxygen out of the room? And I just don't feel like it's Cooper Flagg at this moment. You know what I mean? So anyway, I have 9 of the 2025 Topps Black Friday Target exclusive blaster boxes that I'm trying to sell. Need to recoup some funds after opening too much other retail product. Honest seller, no funny business with these. Just would rather have the cash. Can do $440 with free what? Shipping. It would be in fact, it would be the coldest day in the fiery pits of hell before I would ever consider dumping any money into this product. and to know that people have the cardaholic disease so bad that they're jumping into this. I just don't know what to say. $36 each in store. How much for one or two of them? Therein lies your problem. You open all the worst formats and are selling the best. Though we should expect negative ROI when ripping wax, with every release there are some formats that are far better than others. It varies with the release, but an NBA flagship, the Black Friday blasters are in the top 2 for value of the retail SKUs. If you look at my past posts, I overanalyze the odd sheets and break down every major new Topps release and post print runs, production numbers, and best values for each one. I had several posts about where Diggins like us should apply our money if we want to rip NBA flagship. And maybe that's it, I mean, likely there's better products out there than, others for, Series 1. I just look at Series 1 like it's garbage. I mean, and, we have this individual. I pulled this from a Walmart blaster, so there's hope. Okay, you're going to have to show me the receipts. You're going to have to show me the video. You have to show me you buying the boxes and literally, driving them home and, carrying them in. We can't pause the video because you know how, magicians do things, tricks of the hand here. I don't buy it. I do not buy it. This guy, wow, I mean, if you want to believe everything, believe it. If you want to tell yourself this guy pulled this from a Walmart blaster, hey, tell yourself that. But, maybe the guy bought 100 Walmart blasters, maybe he bought 1,000, who knows, or maybe he's just posting this, to kind of, do the one up on, the individual who put this up on X. That's very possible. And that's why I'm just not like buying it. I need proof here. I used to be a journalist. I'm asking for proof. I'm not taking your word for it, to say the least. Okay. I agree 100%. These card companies could easily put value in every box. They just don't give a crap about collectors. Well, you have to understand, that you have to look at hobby versus retail. When they're putting together their hobby boxes, now I've never been there, but just imagine this. So you're putting together a hobby box. You're going to put the better cards in there. If you have damaged cards, it's going in retail. If you have more, no-name cards, it's going in retail. No-name rookies, you're looking at the hobby box, put in retail. Why? Because retail is for the dregs of society. That's what sports cards have become. If you buy retail, I feel like that's the way Topps is looking at you. Like, you're just not worth anything. Like, you're just like, oh, well, big deal. If you're willing to buy it, you can have all our garbage anyway. It is what it is. I mean, when I look at retail sports cards, maybe I should have my 20-foot pole. Okay, I'm checking it out. I got my 20-foot pole here. It's nasty stuff, just not impressed. And it goes back to experience, whenever I'm buying a pack these days, or, if I were to purchase a box, it's always at my LCS, and he always points out the fact, of everything you look for when you buy hobby. But let's face it, the hobby packs I've been buying, I'm not getting winners either, and that's just ripping wax in general. There's nothing wrong with creating a budget for each drop. Better luck next time. That's my approach. Yep, like I said, we almost never open wax, only buy singles. And I would recommend that, yeah, you don't get the thrill of ripping wax, and, hitting the big lottery card, when you just buy a single. You don't get that. But what you do get is you sleep better at night. You really do, because you have what you want. And you're not waking up going, boy, am I going to have to gamble more money and more money to hopefully find what I want? I mean, this approach to buying sports cards, I'm just kind of burned out on it. It's gamble, gamble, gamble. I hate Fanatics, but the Chosen is pretty much overprint or have scalpers buy up all the product. It sucks through as pre-2020. You would have decent odds at least hitting a numbered gold and a couple blasters, and not too bad odds of hitting some other low-numbered stuff. Well, I don't know. I mean, blasters for me have never really been a gold mine, to say the least. I mean, I typically don't buy blasters because of that fact. I mean, and maybe it's just an issue with experience. And you start to look at the odds, I recommend if you're buying retail, if there's odds print on that box, look at them. Because, man, those odds are just atrocious for so much stuff. I mean, it's just like you're always betting on, the horse that's like wounded out of the gate. You know what I mean? It's just the long shot beyond long shot. The overproduction is real, so why buy that much retail? And I would ask myself the same thing. Why are you going in this much for retail? I mean, if you're going to spend $500, why not just hop up on eBay or go to Dave and Adam's Card World or maybe even Amazon, wherever. Buy yourself some hobby boxes or something better than retail. Retail... Whenever you go to a retail sports card section, they should have a big scarecrow up there for sports card collectors. We're trying to scare you away from this. Why? It's for your own good. You're going to get burnt. You got to enjoy a bonding opportunity with your son, though. Priceless memories. Okay, now this is just gaslighting, all right? You can create plenty of other bonding opportunities with $500 that don't leave you feeling deflated afterwards. Yeah, I mean, I would have recommended go fishing, go camping, take the kid hunting or something, something that the kid's never going to forget, ripping wax. That's a forgettable moment, it's just like big deal, man. And I still remember hunting trips, with my dad and fishing trips. And he didn't have to spend $500 to do those trips, And that's just it. Dang, bad luck. Unopened packs are the best. Yes. If you're buying retail, just flip the box. Don't even rip it, man. Let some other sucker rip into it. And this is, the rubbing in here. From a Walmart box, and I spent maybe $100, and I pulled this. So your luck is just bad. Okay, so let's take a look at this card here. That's a numbered, Cooper Flag, blue parallel rookie card. I mean, it's a nice card. And maybe that's the best of what you're going to get out of retail. Maybe that's what we're looking at here is the best of the best for retail. Huh? And honestly, it's just like a meh. I like this one first time. They always have these up for these guys, Chasing cards by opening packs is almost always going to be a loss. It's really just about the fun of ripping. Yeah. But is ripping really that much fun, ripping a rotten pack of cards isn't near as exciting as hooking a big, like rainbow trout or a walleye or something, or a northern pike. It's just like another rotten moment, it's just another product, I mean, how many products do I open daily at my house, I mean, you open up a thing of shampoo or something, you got to rip into that, you got to open up a box of food, you're ripping into that, it's just ripping new products only goes so far. I mean, it's if you're always opening awesome products, hey, keep doing it. But let's be honest here. Ripping rotten packs of sports cards is not a very thrilling moment. Why not go the hobby route and have a chance to pull a huge card? Far and in between in retail, regardless of what you see online. Well, it's all gambling regardless, I mean, you can lose hobby, you can lose hobby mega box, you can lose retail. And this guy saw this and went, well, it's 30 to 40% off. Let's do it, I wouldn't have done it due to experience, but not everyone has that experience. And, life is about learning. And I guess everyone has to have that opportunity to learn. And if anything, this guy learned. Like he says, he's never going to do this again. It's gambling. Do you expect to go to the casino and win every time? You seem like a smart man. Don't pretend to be, I won't say it, the R word. Which I don't know why you'd have to use that word. If you want a specific card, just buy it. Don't play the cardboard lottery. A great man once said, no crying in the casino. Yeah, if you want to go to the casino, expect casino results. Great post. I wouldn't have put the R word in there. I don't know why we had to do that, but that was probably one of the best reality checks of this whole situation. It really is. You're crying because you went to a casino and lost. That's the nature of the casino. And I'm always recommending, if you're going to go to the casino, there's other casinos to hit. Maybe hit the Pokemon casino. Maybe hit the Yu-Gi-Oh casino. Maybe try, maybe unlicensed product like the Leaf Casino. Maybe you'll be happier. Either way, when you step into the Topps Fanatics Casino and you have Michael Rubin running the whole show, you should expect to always get burned. This is the same as Topps Flagship Baseball. It's paper-based design for set collectors with low chances of a big hit. It's comparable to Score Football or NBA Hoops Basketball. And honestly, I don't know. I mean, set collectors. if I'm a set collector, let's be honest here. I want the better set. I know that I'm always throwing, Topps Chrome under the bus because of that fact, because of those rotten base cards, that they're so expensive. But, if that's what you're telling yourself is that low end is for set collectors, I still think that's not true. Most set collectors want the better set, They don't want the garbage low end set. Sounds like a bad decision problem and not a production problem. Well, I think it's both here. I think that when you spend $500, you should be doing better than it sounds like this guy did. You can always blame the victim. Victim blaming is a constant in the sports card realm, isn't it? Blame the victim. The victim made the mistake of having high expectations. And why wouldn't you when you spend $500? I would have high expectations. But here's the thing. The more experienced you are with that $500, you would never, ever, ever set foot in the Topps retail casino now, would you? I mean, that's just it. I'm not going to the Walmart buying all the retail hoping that I'm going to walk away with a card worth $500,000. I would never do that. I would just hop online and buy the card I want for $500 and go with it, And it would likely be slabbed up, graded, I mean, all of the mystery is gone. So, retail is what it is. When you go to the Topps Fanatics retail casino, expect to lose and lose bad. And anything you win, don't expect a big win, all right? Now, we did see someone who posted, an auto that they supposedly got the Walmart blasters, but, I used to be a journalist. I would have to see proof from start to finish. I heard people saying the same stuff in the 90s, that they spent all this money and there's no value there, And it really hasn't changed in that manner. It's just that Topps Fanatics wants a lot more out the gate for what they're selling you, to get into the cheesy casino where people always lose, they just want a lot of money to get in there. So rather than ripping, Topps wax, if you're going to spend the $500, do something else with it, I talked about, if you have a kid, he wants cards, I mean, maybe spend a little bit of money and then go take him fishing or hunting. He's going to remember the fishing and hunting trip a lot more than seeing there ripping, some rotten packs of wax, He really is. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm living proof of it. I ripped wax with my dad. I don't really remember much of it. Why? It's not like we got a lot of big hits. What I remember is going elk hunting, or else bighorn sheep hunting or fishing and camping and all that good stuff, hiking, that's what I remember doing with my dad, So I guess that, this is a lesson in learning. And the lesson is, don't buy any of that rotten Topps Fanatics retail. Just don't do it, And be very careful if you step up into the hobby as well, because let's face it, I've ripped plenty of Topps hobby packs in my lifetime. They're not exactly crowd pleasers either, I mean, and all the gaslighting that goes on, well, you should have bought hobby instead, like you would have made a winning choice. No. The more you distance yourself from this type of ideology, the happier you're going to be in this hobby. And I'll say this again, if you're going to dive into all that retail, just try to flip the boxes. But you're probably going to take a loss there as well, I mean, and overall, I would just put the old, 80s, 90s mantra that I grew up with. I was always seeing the same thing. Just say no. One of the best things that Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan put out, because, I mean, I use that motto so often in life. It's crazy. So anyway, thank you for watching. I always like to thank my subscribers. You are the reasons that I always do this show. And I'd like to thank my viewers as well. Thanks for watching. And if you could just click that subscription button, it would really help me out. I hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.